Hello, everybody. I'm here to wake you up and energize you after lunch and get you excited about out of home and get those synapses firing. Whoops. The people's space. You're probably asking yourself, what's that about? What does he mean by that? And what I'm talking about is our power, our presence, and our purpose as a medium. The people's space is where we all live. All of us in the business and not in out of home. Our target audience, it's where they live. The people's space is where we make our living. And whether we have epic structures that are standard printed structures or digital, or transit, or posters, or train stations, airports, malls, arenas, stadiums, whether it's bought through agencies, or direct, or through out-of-home specialists, or through programmatic digital out-of-home DSPs, in all those cases, out of home is the visual voice of commerce and culture. The visual voice of commerce and culture. And that happens because out of home is real media for real people. We reach people when they're out of their house, they're alert, they're very aware, they're visually inspired, they're on a discovery path for the serendipity of out of home. You know, out of home is seen now as a way in to connect with people. A lot of other media is now in the way. And think about it, when you're out in public space, you're going through this visual triage, right? Like, what's near me? Does that make sense to me? Does it not? Friend, foe, do I care? Do I not? But you're alert and you're processing rapid fire what's going on visually around you. That's because we are visual by nature. We remember most of what we see. Think about this. If you hear a big noise in the room next to you, what do? You go there to look, to see what happened. We are visually powered. We are picture prone as people, and the creative power, the gravitas of our medium, the payload of out-of-home creative is like a photobomb in our brains, and it resonates. The question is, how and why does it resonate? And so what I've done here is put together a bunch of images. Some of them are Cannes or Drum or Obie winners. Some of them I just like. I want to help you get a framework on how to look at out-of-home messaging. So we're going to go on this journey from telling to storytelling, and I'm going to use the stage. Telling is just saying it. What is it? Where can I get it? Then there's aesthetic, which is like the picture tells the story. And then intrigue, there's a dialogue. The out-of-home asks the question, you answer it. Humor, the answer is a punchline. Context, that's where the environment pays off the creative. It can only work in that certain spot. Engagement. Hey, I've got to connect. Experiential. Now this is very physical for me. You can see that every step of the way, we're going from telling to storytelling, demanding more of the public and rewarding them for their attention. And it's really just about creating spectacle, right? Creating that moment. Theater of the streets, dialogue with the viewer, rewarding them for their attention, creating utility out in the people space, earning our right to be there by providing value. And start simply, remember, literal. What is it? Where can I get it? What's it about? This was an Obie Gold winner, Rodco Steel. They build steel structures, industrial residential business. Clearly, they could build their own billboard if they wanted to. In entertainment, we see a lot of literal. Now, it's got lush production value. It's beautiful to look at, but really it's just saying, here's the title. This is when it releases. Maybe there's some star power in the visual and the key art. It's very literal. Relies on big moments or high frequency to really work. Then as we go into aesthetic, this is the fashion approach typically, where there's a visual narrative that starts to tell a story, creating a sense of place and space and journey. Sometimes there's a lot of confidence here. Think of Bottega Veneta. This is in the flight path to LAX. They're just showing a silhouette and saying, we know you're going to understand what this is about. We believe in you. You know, if you trust people to understand your message, they'll trust you back by remembering it. It's just how it works when we earn the right to be in the people's space. Enhancing the environment is a big part of it. We heard of it earlier. And sometimes you can do it with very subtle elegance, which resonates quietly and people appreciate that it's in that space. And Aesthetic leads into intrigue. And what is this? These are speed lines. What's this mean? What's going on here? Oh, I get it. It's for DoorDash. DoorDash delivers for McDonald's. They must do it quickly, right? Now, I can see what's going on in some of your faces. You're saying, hey, Rick, that logo's too small. That's bad outdoor. I see the smiles. Some of you were thinking that. I would say it's not. Now, remember, out of home is experienced in various ways: standing by it, dwelling, walking by it, or driving by it. And look at this campaign, stand by in a train station. You can easily register that logo. Walking by it on a street wall. Walking, driving, standing, drive by. If you make the logo bigger than it needs to be, all it does is take away from the power of the visual. You don't read the logo more if you make it bigger. You just ruin the balance of the layout overall. Intrigue, okay, remember, literal, aesthetic, intrigue. That one, by the way, the speed lines that I just showed you, if that was literal, let me back up. It would have a headline over the top of it saying, "We deliver quickly." And you see how that robs you of participating in it? Takes away the resonance, takes away the power of it. All right, literal, aesthetic, intrigues, where we're at. The stars. Now let's break this down. It's for British Airways. Business, leisure, stars. You have to do the math real quick. British Airways goes everywhere. Cool, I want to go everywhere. There's room for you to live here. Now, if it was literal, they just would have wrote the headline. British Airways goes everywhere. Falls a little flatter. This is a perfect example of brilliant thinking, innovative production techniques, and very informed data-driven planning.
So by pressing and distilling fruit, we've created posters that not only reveal malnutrition facts, but more importantly contain a higher amount of vitamins than some of the foods we choose to eat.
It does make you think for a second, doesn't it? When you've got a poster that has more nutrients than the food that we eat.
How we live our lives, especially in the city, it's very difficult to really find the time to read all the nutrients and the ingredients.
Everyone should know what we have in our food.
I think that's actually really terrifying.
I think everybody should see it. Looking at this, people need to be more aware of what we're putting into our bodies.
Wow, we are good when everything comes together. Thinking, production innovation, smart planning, contextual, intriguing, trusting the public, adding to the public realm. That gravitas, that resonance, those photo bombs, that's our power. That's our power, and that's what the people space is all about. Now, solving a puzzle and intriguing message doesn't need to be complicated. It could be a quick solve. You can see this for a local credit union. You don't need $148 bazillion to retire. Let's talk. Clearly, that number 148 is just a digital number for the route of that bus, which changes depending on the bus or the time of day. It doesn't matter what it says. If it just said 1, it would work. As a viewer, you look at that and you're like, clever, smart. When I woke up this morning, I didn't think I would see something so entertaining. Thank you. Ah, man. Let's just all go get a massage. 3 elements, 1 idea, high contrast, puts me in a new place immediately. Power of out of home in the people space, trusting the viewer, using intrigue. And humor. Don't get vaccinated. Nothing wasted here. Hey, ChatGPT, gotcha. Now, what do we have here? Context only works if it's on this building. Intrigue, got to figure it out. Humor. Now, what they do need is an out-of-home specialist agency help to make sure that this part isn't blocked on the bottom, but just saying. Oh, man. Sports medicine and just clever, right? And it made it to the streets without too much thinking. Let's just get it done, get it out there. I bet you every time someone saw this, once they saw it once and they saw it again, they loved seeing that. Hey, is that one of those bendy buses with the elbow thing? On a crowded train, riders listening to music, a small piece. Riders listening to podcasts, a bigger piece. Riders eavesdropping on conversations, most of the pie. That's what every one of us are thinking while we're stuck on a train, elbow to elbow. Works perfectly on a train. Perfectly contextual, a little bit of humor. Minimally invasive neurosurgeons. An outstanding use of white space. And I love seeing this. This was last year, actually, but coming out of COVID, like it was okay to be funny again, even when talking about neurosurgery. But what's brilliant about this is that it's spot on the promise that it's less impact in the surgery, and that's what they offer. Again, just a few elements, high contrast, one idea. Trusting the public will take a beat and figure it out. Let the sun shine in. In this case, let the vitamin D in. You know what I love about this, the boldness here? Because what if it's not sunny? And I guarantee you in the conference room that discussion happened. Well, how can we do this? Maybe it's not sunny one day and it's cloudy and that screws up the message and oh my God. The point is it will be sunny at some point. And I think everybody can forgive that and probably stand in the middle of it waiting for the sun. At an airport, context and humor. No sharp objects? What a shame. This is for Netflix show Wednesday, which is dark comedy. This next one, they really nailed it. Super efficient, perfect context, dark humor. I like my coffee black, just like my soul. Trolling McDonald's, Wendy's, hot and crispy fries don't arch. Now this billboard, if it wasn't next to McDonald's, this would work just fine. Humorous, few key elements, you get it. But right next to the McDonald's sign totally pays off. And this is where all of our brilliant mapping tools now really make a difference. These plans are easy to make. I think when the public sees these perfect if-then scenarios, they're like, magic! How did they know to put up the snowy donut when it was actually snowing? Context. Hey, somebody left their saddle at the airport. But that's not what happened. This was a self-promotion for Grand Rapids Airport saying they have non-stops to Houston. And Houston is known for cowboys, therefore the saddle. Okay, we talked about this earlier with the sustainability panel. Just the power of our medium and the notion of power usage. This is Algorand, this was a gold Obie this year. Crypto brand, and their message, their position was that they use less power to mine the crypto. So they took over a day, Earth Day, and Times Square, I think it was 25 or 30 screens, made everything green, which was their colorway. They took over an idea, which was to save energy on Earth Day by turning off the screens. So ruthlessly simple, very bold statement. Owned an idea, a day, a cause, a moment, a space, only worked on Earth Day. This is a wonderful example of a message meeting the moment. Louis Vuitton at airports, which are always the beginning and the end of a story. So where are we at? Literal, aesthetic, intrigue, humor, context. We found that as time progresses, out of home is also examining its purpose. What does it mean to humans? And here's a terrific example of how out of home, in a unique space, by redefining where it goes, can redefine its impact on people.
Extreme heat is a challenge in cities worldwide. I'm Jane Gilbert. I'm the Chief Heat Officer for Miami-Dade County. We have far more days over 90 degrees than we had just a few decades ago. Black roofs can get up to 170 degrees, affecting everyone who lives under them. Painting roofs with special white paint can reflect 85% of sunlight, lowering surface temperatures by up to 50 degrees.
We're always having to keep the air on, and having that on all day is expensive.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
We're working on policies at the state level to encourage cool and white roofs. These chill boards raise people's awareness all over the world, and that's a great thing. I'd love to see this on more roofs across America.
I'm always amazed how the creative possibilities of our medium are really limitless. And I think the story of what we can do and how we impact the people's space is just beginning to be told. It's just beginning to be told. We've taught people since they were little that you can interact with brands, that they're part of your environment. Sometimes in a simple way, just a place to sit in the sun. We've also taught people that it's a way in. That if I have my phone out, there's a QR code on the screen, or there's a digital screen, or if I'm in Times Square or Piccadilly somewhere, maybe my photo will go up on that screen. We've taught people there's a connection between us, the screen, the billboard, the printed poster, our phone. There's continuity there. There's an interaction. Even if it's hand-painted, in this case for Chase Sapphire, paintings of vacation destinations, and since humans are social, we want to grab a photo and participate and share. Who would have known when social media started that we would be one of its biggest triggers? What a wonderful, unexpected outcome for all of us. Part of our power we have yet to fully tap. Sometimes we participate without even knowing it. This is for Interact, which is like the PayPal in Canada, Holiday Life. It's just clear glass, so whatever's on the other side becomes the visual for the campaign. In other cases, we interact on purpose in a very physical and intentional way, sometimes changing the perceptions of ourselves.
When I was growing up, I never saw women that looked like me wearing the hijab, and I feel like that hindered my ability to kind of dream.
السباحة معلق على شكل لوحة إعلانية.
The first ever liquid billboard.
아디다스는 최근 세계 최초로 두바이 해변에 액체 광고판을 선보였습니다.
When I look around and I look at everyone, I feel that we are all the same in the water.
The potential purpose of out of home is unlimited. And when we think of out of home, strictly speaking, we say it's when brands visually intercept the public when they're out of the house. But do they need to physically be there? That idea was tested last year by Michelob Ultra during the NBA bubble. There were no fans, and we've seen the screens around basketball courts that deliver out-of-home messaging to the people in the arena and people on TV. And in this case, they expanded those screens and allowed people to virtually attend the games and become virtual out-of-home impressions. Certainly tested the idea of what our medium can be, but shows how the public is anxious and willing and open to participate if we make it worth their while, if we reward them for their attention.
Unbelievable things in basketball.
This is something out of a movie.
Games have been suspended.
This is the last night of NBA games.
The league will use this hiatus to determine the next steps.
We play games without the fans? No, it's impossible. I ain't playing.
It's a whole new experience with Michelob Ultra. Virtual fans are in attendance.
Yo, this is sick, dude. You just scan a Michelob bottle to see if you want to see.
That energy and bond between people is an essential part of the experience.
It's pretty crazy, man. You can literally talk to people in your section.
I'm walking right here. I hear I'm sitting next to Shaq. What's up, Fritz?
Wade in the Miami Heat section. Mickey Mouse.
Scottie Pippen.
We see you, Chuck.
All of you exercise your voice and your rights.
It is a whole
new different kind of viewing
I like that
experience.
virtual crowd that they had.
The virtual fan board is unbelievable.
The NBA is leading the way, as usual.
It's fantastic what's happening in this bubble.
Wow, yo.
Who's ditching, eh?
Ridiculous! What a beautiful pass.
I like this a lot. I want to do this more.
This is like a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic opportunity.
Brilliant thinking always wins in the end. And when we look at the future of our medium, our messenger, our platform, our screens, we are the screen for the public going forward. I think out of home is the new TV, like it was in the 50s when there was a TV in every room and you could reach every house in the world overnight. You can do that now with screens. Now this, it's just visuals, but it demonstrates how we are the visual voice of commerce and culture globally. It's a great opportunity and a great responsibility for our medium. At PJX, we believe in the people's space. We believe in our responsibility to deliver rewards for people's attention. We believe in storytelling over telling. We have all the tools. And we have a right, a place, and a purpose as an industry. Out-of-home media has a right, a place, and a purpose in the people's space. And there is nothing that out-of-home can't do. Nothing can do what out-of-home can do in the people's space. Thank you.